Welcome to Backbone Unlimited. My name is Matt Hartsky. In this episode, we're going to talk about the easiest way to find elk on public land and why almost nobody is actually doing it. If you're not familiar with who I am, I've been hunting and guiding Western big game for over 34 years, and I've been a professional strength conditioning and nutrition coach for more than 30 years, and I'm here to help you become a more successful and consistent elk hunter and outdoorsman. If you've ever spent days covering miles, hiking ridge after ridge, dropping into basin after basin, and still not seeing elk, you're not alone. A lot of elk hunters have been there. Heck, I've been there. And the frustrating part is, it feels like the solution should be pretty simple: work harder, go further, put in more time. And sometimes that's the truth, but that's not the real problem. Finding elk isn't about who can suffer the most or hike the farthest, although I like that idea. In fact, a lot of the time, doing more is exactly what keeps you from finding them. There's a simpler way to approach this, and a lot of elk hunters completely overlook it. The success rates tell us it's true. Instead of randomly searching for elk, you can start predicting where they're going to be by understanding pressure, access, and how elk actually use terrain to avoid people. And once you see it, once you understand how this works, it changes how you hunt elk immediately. You're going to stop guessing and start putting yourself in the right place on purpose. Step number one: stop looking for elk and start looking for pressure. A lot of hunters approach elk hunting the same way. They go out and try to find elk. They look for sign, they glass basins, they listen for bugles, and they move until they finally run into something. And when that doesn't happen, they assume elk just aren't there. But that's not usually the case. Elk don't just disappear, they shift. And what causes that shift more than anything on public land is pressure. Most elk hunters move in very predictable ways. They park at obvious access points. They follow established trails. They head toward well-known drainages, basins, and popular spots they've seen online or heard about from other hunters, and elk know that. They deal with that pressure every single season. So instead of staying in those areas, they adjust. They slide off travel routes. They move into thicker cover. They reposition in terrain that gives them better security and better awareness of what's coming. And that means if you're hunting where a lot of hunters are willing to go, you're often hunting where elk used to be. So the shift you need to make is pretty simple, but it changes everything. You stop asking, where are the elk? And you start asking, where are the hunters and where would elk go to avoid them? Because once you understand how pressure flows through a piece of country, you can start predicting how elk respond to it. And now you're not randomly just searching anymore. You're hunting with purpose, because the truth is, pressure doesn't eliminate elk, it relocates them. Step number two: the in between zone. Most hunters walk right past. We've got to focus on this. Here's something a lot of hunters don't realize: they're often walking right past elk. I'm not talking 20 yards off the trail. We're talking, within a quarter, half mile, but they think elk aren't in the area. And not because they're careless, but because they're thinking in extremes. They either stay close to access, like roads, trailheads, easy country, or they commit to going deep, pushing miles back, trying to get away from people. And that creates a gap, an overlooked zone right in the middle. Typically, that's about a half mile to a mile and a half off access. Not far enough to feel remote, but just far enough to get overlooked. Slightly off the main trail, not in the obvious basin, not in the destination spot. And that's exactly why a lot of elk use it. Those are areas that offer reduced pressure without requiring elk to completely relocate. They still have efficient escape routes. They can monitor movement from trails and access points, and they deal with less competition from both hunters and other elk. It's not flashy terrain. You're not looking at postcard views or big open parks. You're looking at subtle features: side hill benches just above a trail, broken timber between two drainages, uneven terrain that most hunters pass through without ever slowing down. But those spots can check the boxes that matter: security, wind advantage, and low disturbance. Those matter for elk, and that's where elk feel comfortable during daylight. So instead of thinking you need to go further, start thinking you need to hunt smarter in the areas a lot of people overlook, because the reality is this: Most elk aren't necessarily deep. They're just not where people are willing to hunt correctly, right? Especially the steep, nasty stuff. Step number three, use access points to predict elk movement. Access is one of the most overlooked advantages you have on public land. Every trailhead, road, and parking area creates a starting point. And from that point, a lot of elk hunters move in very predictable ways. They head straight up the trail. They follow the path of least resistance. They push towards obvious basins, ridges, or spots they've already identified on a map, and that creates pressure funnels. You can almost draw lines on a map showing how hunters are going to move through a piece of country. Now, here's the part a lot of people miss. Elk are reacting to that movement in real time. They don't wait around in those direct lines of travel. They shift off angle. They move into thicker cover. They slide into terrain that breaks line of sight and allows them to monitor what's coming without feeling exposed. They don't necessarily go far, they go smarter. So instead of following the same routes as everybody else, you need to start hunting off of those lines. Position yourself perpendicular to the flow of pressure. Get just outside of where hunters are traveling, not right on top of it. Look for where elk naturally cross away from that movement, like side hills, those benches we love. I've got full videos on benches, timber pockets, transitions between drainages. Those are the zones where elk slip through as pressure builds behind them. And when you understand how hunters move, you can start to predict those shifts instead of just reacting to them after the fact. That way, you're no longer guessing, you're intercepting, because the truth is simple. If you understand how hunters move, you can predict how elk avoid them. Hey, if you hunt public land elk and you're tired of grinding through random seasons, I built the elk hunting series of ebooks for you. Most hunters don't struggle because they lack effort. They struggle because they lack a system. And that's exactly why I built the elk hunting ebook series as a complete progressive framework for Western elk hunters who are done guessing and ready to hunt with intention. Volume 1 is going to be Foundations and Reality. I reset your mindset and expose the assumptions that quietly wreck seasons. In Volume 2, Finding Elk and Understanding Pressure, you'll learn how elk actually move under pressure so you can anticipate instead of react. In Volume 3, Terrain, Wind, and Position, I break down how to use landscape and thermals to consistently create opportunities. In Volume 4, Calling, Silence, and Pressure, sound becomes a decision tool, not an impulse. In Volume 5, Bow Hunting Execution, we're talking about close range strategy so you can finish your encounters. And in Volume 6, Late Season and Post Rut, we're talking about how elk shift after the rut and how to adapt when others quit. This is a system built for consistency. This isn't theory, it's a structured system to help you find elk, read country, and make confident decisions every season. Buy each volume individually or bundle them all to save 50% off at backboneunlimited.com. Number 4, find elk by identifying security, not just feed. A lot of elk hunters spend time looking for food. They glass meadows, they focus on open parks, they key in on green feed and assume that's where elk are going to be. And early and late in the day, it can be true. But that's not necessarily where you consistently kill elk, especially on public land. Because once pressure shows up, elk stop prioritizing food and they start prioritizing security. That's a big shift, right? And a lot of hunters miss it. Mature elk, especially big bulls, don't need the best feed. They need areas where they can survive the best. So they move into darker timber, north-facing slopes, and mid-slope bedding zones where they can control wind, limit visibility, and stay one step ahead of pressure. They'll travel for food. They won't compromise security to get it. So if your entire strategy revolves around just finding food, you're only seeing a small part of the picture. The better approach is to focus on where elk feel safe during daylight. That means hunting bedding related terrain, not just feeding areas. You're looking for places that offer a consistent wind advantage for the elk, terrain that provides multiple escape routes, cover that allows elk to see, smell, and hear danger before it gets close. And those aren't always obvious spots, especially on a map. They're often thick, uncomfortable, and harder to hunt. And that's why elk love them, because the pressure is lower and the security is higher. And when you start prioritizing those areas, your odds change fast, because the truth here is that food attracts elk, but security keeps them there. Step number 5, the simple system. Make sure that you're trying to let elk come back to you. Now, let's simplify this and turn it into something you can actually use in the field, because the easiest way to find elk isn't by covering more ground. It's by understanding how pressure moves them and positioning yourself accordingly. So here's one of the systems I like to use. First, identify access and pressure. Look at where hunters are most likely coming from: trailheads, roads, popular entry points. Then visualize how those are going to move through that terrain. Second, predict elk displacement. As pressure pushes into those areas, elk don't disappear. They shift, usually off angle, into cover and into terrain that gives them better security. Third, locate that security terrain: dark timber, mid-slope benches, north-facing cover, places where elk can bed, watch, and feel safe, all while pressure moves around them. And finally, position yourself between pressure and security. That's where the opportunity happens, because elk are moving in response to pressure every single day, especially in the morning and mid-morning when hunters start pushing into areas and the elk begin adjusting. Most hunters are behind that movement and they're just chasing elk. You don't have to be. Instead of trying to randomly find elk, you're going to intercept them. You're going to set up where they're going, not where they were. And then you stay patient. You let other hunters unknowingly do the work for you. You let pressure move elk into predictable zones, and then you're already there when it happens. That's a big shift, because the truth here is that the easiest way to find elk is to let pressure push them to you. If you take anything away from this, it should be this: easy doesn't mean lazy, right? It means efficient. A lot of elk hunters overcomplicate elk hunting. They think they need to hike further, grind harder, and cover more country to find elk, or learn the secret tactic, or, become an expert caller. And sometimes that's true, but most of the time it really just leads back to more miles and the same results, because they're still guessing. They don't understand elk yet. They don't understand elk behavior. What we just walked through isn't doing less. It's about doing right things in the right places. So when you start paying attention to pressure, access, and how elk respond to both, you're going to eliminate a lot of wasted time. You're going to stop randomly searching. You're going to stop bouncing from spot to spot, just hoping to run into elk. And instead, you can start predicting their movement. You start positioning yourself where elk are going to be, likely, before you ever see them. And that's what changes everything. This is something you can apply immediately. Next time you're in the field, don't just look for elk. Look at how other hunters are moving and ask yourself where elk would go because of that. Because once you make that shift, elk hunting becomes a whole lot more efficient and a whole lot more consistent. Now, if you want to go deeper into elk movement, pressure patterns, terrain positioning, and structured decision making, that's exactly why I built the elk hunting series of ebooks. It's a progressive system designed to help you understand how elk actually use country and how to position yourself accordingly. I have a link to those ebooks in the description. If you want hands-on application and real-time breakdowns, we have an in-person Elk Camp 2026 that is built around this same philosophy: structure, preparation, and execution in real time. We're going to run through 90% of Elk Camp as scenarios for you. You can check that out at backboneunlimited.com. And if you want ongoing access to the Team Backbone community, classroom, my full digital vault of elk resources, private discussions, and direct communication to me for planning, you can join Team Backbone at backboneunlimited.com underneath our membership tab. Everything we talked about here is connected. Preparation isn't just a single video, it's a system. Thanks for being here. Until next time, train harder, hunt smarter, and never settle.